What's up, everyone? This is Shane Reviews, and today we're diving deep into Resident Evil Requiem, the ninth mainline entry in Capcom's legendary survival horror franchise. I got the chance to study everything from the new Gamescom 2025 demo, as well as drawing from the series' history, fan expectations, and what Capcom seems to be aiming for with this terrifying new chapter. Now, if you've been following Resident Evil since RE7, you'll know that Capcom has made the Stalker Enemy a signature part of the modern formula. Jack Baker, Mr. X, and Lady Dimitrescu, each one became an icon, and now Requiem seems ready to deliver its own unforgettable nightmare. But is this game shaping up to be the scariest Resident Evil yet? Let's break it down. The demo takes place in the Rhodes Hill Chronic Care Center, a creepy, dimly lit medical facility that feels like a mashup between a hospital and an asylum. And for longtime fans, this instantly feels like a callback to the Spencer Mansion's claustrophobic corridors or the Baker Estate's suffocating atmosphere. We're introduced to a brand new protagonist, Grace Ashcroft, a survivor who's armed with, well, not much. Forget your shotguns and magnums. In this demo, Grace only had a lighter and some glass bottles. That's it. This already signals that Requiem is pushing tension higher than usual, relying more on stealth, strategy, and resourcefulness rather than brute firepower. Now, Capcom has confirmed that combat will be part of the full game. But here, the focus was purely on survival, creeping through the halls, managing your inventory, and praying you're quiet enough not to get noticed. If you've played Resident Evil before, the structure will feel familiar. You're solving puzzles, collecting key items, and unlocking new areas in a very classic Resident Evil fashion. But unlike the sprawling villages or castles of recent games, this demo space was tiny. Just a few rooms connected by a single long hallway. That might sound small, but here's the thing. In survival horror, smaller often means scarier. It keeps you trapped, with no real escape, amplifying the fear of being cornered. Think about Alien Isolation or the police station in Resident Evil 2. Remake, those spaces worked because they were tight and oppressive. Requiem is leaning into that same philosophy. Now let's talk about the star of the show, the new Stalker Enemy. She hasn't been given a name yet, but she's already terrifying. Imagine Lady Dimitrescu's height, Lisa Trevor's grotesque frame, and the monstrous jaw of a Wendigo. Add in bulging eyes, clawed hands, and a hunched posture, and you've got something straight out of a nightmare. The demo introduces her in classic Resident Evil fashion. Grace discovers a corpse, only for this hulking figure to lurch into frame, manhandle the body, and then casually eat its skull. And right there, you realize zombies, the bread and butter of the franchise, aren't even a threat to her. She's on another level. What makes her unique is her mobility. Like the xenomorph in Alien Isolation, she doesn't just chase you on foot. She crawls through ceiling vents and drops down above you. She reacts to sound, sight, even smell. You can't outrun her, and you definitely can't kill her. So how do you survive? Well, you got a couple of tricks. Glass bottles can distract her, letting you slip past. Hiding and sneaking give you temporary relief. And most importantly, light. Yes, this monster has an Achilles heel. Bright ceiling lamps burn her skin, forcing her to retreat. This is such a clever twist on the series' safe room tradition. Instead of magical rooms stalkers can't enter, now there's an in-world logic for why you're safe. The monster is literally vulnerable to certain environments. Because you're defenseless, the gameplay emphasizes stealth and timing. Sneaking under desks, hiding behind furniture, and moving slowly are essential. Even using your lighter is a risk. Sure, it helps you see, but it also attracts her. That constant trade-off, like safety versus exposure, keeps the tension sky high. And this reminds me of what Resident Evil 7 did so well with Jack Baker. He wasn't just scary because he was powerful, but because he forced you to play differently. You weren't blasting zombies in a hallway. You were hiding, sneaking, listening. Requiem feels like it's pushing that formula even further. One of the most exciting features is that you can switch between first person and third person at any time. This is a first for a mainline RE game outside of remakes. In first person, the monster feels massive, towering over you. Your limited field of view makes every scare more intense. For example, during a scripted sequence, you push a cart to reach an item, and mid-action, a giant claw scrapes past a window. It's panic-inducing. In third person, you get a wider view, but Capcom balances that by adding unique animations. Grace can stumble or trip when running, which actually builds tension in a different way. This dual perspective isn't just a gimmick. It changes how you experience fear. First person is intimate horror. Third person is cinematic survival. And giving players the choice means Requiem could appeal to fans of both eras of Resident Evil. From a design standpoint, Requiem is classic Capcom. The inventory system, the puzzles, the creepy environmental storytelling, all the DNA of the franchise is here. But it's layered with new ideas that make it feel fresh. The Chronic Care Center itself feels like a character. It's claustrophobic, decrepit, and full of those little details that make you wonder what kind of experiments or tragedies happened here. Resident Evil has always excelled at making its locations iconic. The mansion, the police station, the castle. If Capcom builds the rest of Requiem's world with this much detail, we might have another classic environment on our hands. So, after this short demo, where does Resident Evil Requiem stand? Honestly, it feels like Capcom is doubling down on pure survival horror. Less action, more fear, more atmosphere. The Stalker Enemy looks ready to join the Hall of Fame alongside Mr. X and Lady D. Grace Ashcroft feels like a grounded protagonist that fits the tone of the game. And the dual perspective system could make this one of the most replayable entries yet. Of course, we still don't know how this demo connects to the full story, or if it's just a standalone teaser like RE7's beginning hour. But one thing's clear. When Resident Evil Requiem launches in 2026, survival horror fans are in for a terrifying ride. So, is this shaping up to be the scariest Resident Evil yet? I think it just might be.